Hello, welcome to the first episode of the Nasfluent podcast. I'm joined here with Michelle Smith. Michelle, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, thank you, Amar. So my name is Michelle Smith. I'm an account manager at My HR Management. I have over 30 years of experience in a variety of areas, always in sales and account management.
So, Michelle, can you share with us your journey in sales and how you became successful in your career?
Sure. I started out working toward a degree in journalism, but transitioned to sales in the media as a career. I had opportunities to work for magazines, television, and newspaper sales departments. And I really enjoyed working with entrepreneurs to help them generate new business.
In your experience, what are some effective strategies for building and maintaining strong relationships with your clients and customers?
Um, well, we're all human beings. We all have lives outside of work. It's important to relate to your clients or your customers on that level without becoming too personal. There's definitely a balance. I also believe your client needs to develop trust in you, and I think that comes along with with doing what you say you're going to do and being a reliable asset to their business. So basically follow through. I also think it's important to do whatever it takes and to go outside of the box sometimes to help your clients.
Hmm. So, how do you handle objections and rejections in the sales process? And what advice would you give to salespeople who are facing such challenges?
I think objections are just opportunities to fill in the blanks. So when you hear an objection, it's not a no, it's a request for more information and a signal
Hmm.
that you still have a chance to turn the client around. I usually like to thank the person for the objection first off, and then I try to offset it with information and suggestions to help them. Rejection is a huge part of sales, and I think you just need to get used to it. Pick yourself up and just make another call. I'm a big fan of celebrating successes so you can outweigh those rejections, and that goes with creating internal campaigns or internal reward systems. So that's how
Yeah,
I
so
like to deal.
so can you discuss the importance of understanding customer needs and how it impacts the sales progress? How can salespeople effectively identify and address those needs?
I think understanding your customer needs is critical to the sales process. To identify your client's needs, you really have to ask a lot of questions to understand their business model. Um, I'm a big believer in pain points and using leading questions to identify them, and then show how many products or services you have that can solve them.
Hmm. So in today's digital age, how do you see technology influencing the sales landscape? What tools or techniques do you recommend for salespeople to stay ahead in this changing environment?
Wow. Yeah, that's a big one. So everybody's talking about AI. That's going to be a huge disruptor in sales.
Hmm.
It's going to allow for streamlining processes, automation of tasks and data-driven decisions, which is, it's great. Repetitive tasks like generating reports, updating data, that'll all become much easier with AI. I think it's also going to allow us to determine buying patterns, by reviewing large volumes of data that would take a
Hmm.
person, weeks to do. AI will allow us to uncover opportunities and predictive analysis to sort of identify trends and cross-sell and upsell opportunities with existing clients. So programs like ChatGPT can help create and execute content like emails and social media messaging, advertising layouts, and even design. So there's huge changes coming. Sales for salespeople, even virtual salespeople, there's talk of that. So they're creating programs so that they can use natural language processing for lead generation. That all that stuff is in the works. So I think again, relationship building is going to be a huge advantage for humans against AI. But that's when we talk technology, that's where my brain goes.
So, could you share a memorable sales success story and explain what factors contributed to its achievement?
Sure. So we recently onboarded a client at my HR that was a result of a cold call, and at least 7 follow-up calls before getting them to the table.
Hmm.
I made multiple calls on a regular cadence, just to stay top of mind with this very busy professional. Always trying to update them with, any new information, or just saying, I just want to keep in touch, just trying to be, again, personable and understanding of his situation. When he finally agreed to meet, we had an intro call with our team, and that's when the real sales process started. We settled on an agreement, and after multiple meetings, the sale went through. Again, it took a lot of time to go from A to B, but once it started, like, I think it was probably 5 months, but it's a big deal and it's great. I think time and effort are really, what you've got to put in. So there were lots of calls, lots of emails that went unanswered. So you don't ever give up. But this client, like I said, was very busy. I noticed, one of the things I noticed was that he seemed to answer his phone after 5 p.m., his cell phone. So that's what I did. I started calling after 5 p.m. And I think, when you're trying to get these people, it takes tenacity, constant follow up, and, just don't give up until you get that hard no. And even then, if they fit your ICP, check in on them once in a while. Don't give up.
So how do you approach the process of setting sales targets and goals? What strategies can salespeople employ to meet and exceed those targets?
I think goals have to be achievable, or they are actually demotivating and ineffective. There needs to be a solid reward for reaching your goal. Most salespeople have a component of a commission or a bonus system in place to celebrate their success. That's always been a good motivator for me. But as a salesperson, what I do is I try to break down my goals just to put them into more manageable chunks. I think it's really helpful when you're trying to exceed your targets. So work it backwards to see how much outreach it takes to get a lead on average. How many leads do you have to go get to a meeting, and how many meetings do you need to get to a close? That I find very beneficial. So if, for example, if you need to close 1 deal a month to meet your target, you may need to have 4 meetings on average. And to get those 4 meetings, you may need 8 leads. And to get those 8 leads, you may need to make 1,800 calls or 800 calls. Who knows? Anyways, how long, how long does it take to do that work? And that's what you have to break down and then schedule yourself or your team to make that happen. I don't think there's shortcuts to that. It's just putting the time in.
Last but not least, we have some controversial questions.
Oh
So
boy.
some may argue that salespeople manipulate customers. How would you respond to this criticism, and what ethical boundaries should sales professionals adhere to?
Well, I think there are salespeople who manipulate customers for sure. I know I've been a victim of it myself, and left me with a really bad taste with the company.
Mhm.
So in today's marketplace, reviews are really important. I took the time to write a bad review because of my experience in that case. Salespeople should always provide accurate and true information. You should always treat people with respect and fairness and provide good work for, a fair price. I don't think people should misrepresent or lie about the products. It comes back to you. So, like always, I think it's important to stay true.
In the era of data-driven sales, is there still a place for intuition and gut feelings when closing deals?
Absolutely. Whenever you're dealing with people, you'll have intuition and gut feelings. I can't count how many times I've either made that extra call or followed up because I had a gut feeling, and it paid off.
Mm. Is the customer always right, or are the instances where salespeople should challenge customers' demands to provide better solutions?
I don't think the customer's always right, but they deserve to have their concerns or needs heard. some customers can be unreasonable and out of touch with what they've bought. But that means you probably haven't done the best job at explaining things. In that case, you know, you need to communicate better. You need to solve their pain better. If the customer isn't a good fit, there's nothing wrong with parting ways. You know, when you're dealing with difficult situations, unqualifying contacts that you're not able to satisfy as part of the job. I like to try to keep everybody happy, but you know, not everybody is possible to be made happy, I guess.
All right, that's all my questions for today. Thank you, Michelle, for your time. It's nice talking to you.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Samar. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.